Welcome to a brand new episode of the Jandayan Sisters. So, I am Andrea Jandayan,
And I am Leila Jandayan.
and together we discuss important issues in the Philippines, and of course, relating it to the global population. Well, one thing to note is we are highlighting a very specific issue. First, what's a general issue? So it's food insecurity, but what is the specific aspect? Well, it has something to do with the humble eggplant. You know, the humble eggplant wherein you experience pinakbet, torta, sinigang, ensalada, and of course, kare-kare. And there's a problem with this because it has been inflicted at some point or at most of the time for 50 to 75% due to these larvae from an insect called the eggplant fruit and shoot borer. Scientifically, it's also called Leosinodes urbanalis. So it's a moth species prevalent here in Asia and of course some parts of Africa. And the issue there is on the breed of the larvae itself because they crawl into the eggplants and make themselves populate, therefore destroying crops. So, what is the solution here?
Well, our solution, the Philippine solution lies on GMO or on genetically modified organisms. So, to target the eggplants, we have the bacterium called Bacillus thuringiensis or BT. So instead of eggplant, it will be called BT. Now, this BT contains a natural protein, and then if that protein is inserted in the eggplant's DNA, not only it would improve the taste, but also it will make it resistant to the eggplant fruit and shoot borers.
Or EFSB. So, another thing to note here is that BT as a important GMO is nothing that much new, but its roots stem from India, wherein it was successful there. And one thing to note that one of their companies did partner up with UP Los Baños and of course Cornell University and also with support of USAID or United States Agency for International Development. So this is a move towards making it for commercial use, and of course you have to get past regulators, scientists, but overall they would most likely approve of this, especially when issues have arisen from this that it was deemed not safe, but it was debunked. So, Leila, how was this debunked?
Well, first we need to start on where does the BT eggplant target on. First, it's the humans, then the pests, and the plant-friendly insects. Now, this plant targets these three because of its its dependency on whether it would activate the toxin that would be released by the BT itself. So if the BT eggplant were to be ingested by either the plant-friendly insects like ladybugs, or if it were to be ingested by humans, then it would depend on our pH level. And since our pH level is more on acidic for humans, the toxins inside the eggplant will not be formed. And so therefore it would be safe for humans to eat. Whereas if the borers or any other secondary pests would eat the BT eggplant, the toxins will form inside their bodies and therefore killing it. Now, it was deemed not safe because during the 2010s, there are protests that say GMOs do not have to be ingested by humans because they're making humans as a test subject. And so there might be GMOs that, oh, you cannot ingest this because it can harm you like any other poison. And so this was the time that the Supreme Court had to intervene and initially put a stop to the BT plant project. But in 2016, together with Lupi Los Baños, the Department of Health, and any other DOST related departments, they come together and decided to give BT eggplant a chance. And that's why only on 2021 there was already a approved order that the BT eggplant can be produced for as food and feed.
So, another aspect here is how do we ensure food security through these BT eggplants? Well, it has to do with money. It has always been with money. And you have to convince the farmers to grow them because it brings money. So, when researcher Mr. Sergio Francisco did a study with about 100 eggplant farmers scattered across Batangas, Nueva Ecija, Pangasinan, and Quezon, they found out that the average BT eggplant farmer could generate a net income of about 50,000, and that is with every 100,000 gross sales that they put in, compared to a farmer who does it with insecticides, which can only generate of about 16 or 17,000. So imagine it being the net income compared to the net income of an eggplant farmer. This becomes more sustainable. And another thing that will be solved locally is
the reduction of chemical fertilizers. Now, because normal eggplants would need fertilizers, there is the need for farmers to hire their expenses. So they had to spend much more on the fertilizers, even though they sprinkle it any other day. But if the farmers plant the BT eggplant, then there will be no need to buy those chemical fertilizers. Thus, this would reduce its production and also never the mining of the other resources. As for, if you think about it globally, through BT eggplants, there is the upcoming climate change, and then there's the global warming. And the global warming can change the distribution of pests, how they spread across the whole country. If they want to target the BT eggplant, they just die. Really.
And so these are our thoughts and researched experiments, especially when it came to the profitability of planting transgenic plants. This is written by Henrito Tasio and another one from our research. So once again, thank you for listening to our podcast. I am Andrea Jandayan.
And I'm Leila Jandayan.
And together, we tell you guys of another solution and another issue for the next time. Thank you.